guys, welcome to Family Fun Pack. We owe you guys an update on our unborn baby.
We do. You owe me an update. I've been kind of left out the loop a little when we go to the appointments and hospital.
Yes.
And
I've been sitting in there so long at the hospital, going through all of it, that I forget he's not there with me. He's not allowed in.
I'm out in the car.
Only one person can come in.
Out in the lane.
So that's been me. So, okay, as you guys know, a couple days before Christmas, we went in for what we thought was going to be a routine visit. We did know that there was maybe a little something they wanted to see within the uterus and all of that. So they were looking at that, and they were also supposed to be looking at our baby's heart because, as you guys know, with surrogate pregnancies, sometimes there can be problems with the heart. So we thought we were just gonna go in for a quick appointment and then a follow-up with the doctor, and it turned into another doctor coming in to help the ultrasound tech, followed by the highest, as they call her, head honcho of the whole department, also coming in. There's all these people looking at this ultrasound, trying to read it as we're getting this ultrasound done. And finally they say, you're skipping your appointment to the OB, you're gonna go straight over to the emergency room and then labor and delivery. And we were just like, what? What's going on here? So it was a little crazy, it was a little chaotic. We get over to the emergency room and
I just thought the next appointment was at the hospital because I wasn't hearing any of this.
yeah, he didn't realize
She came down and we're walking over
appointment.
across the street. I'm like, oh, I guess we're later in the pregnancy. We're just doing the
He thought it was a hospital
ultrasound.
tour or something.
Yeah, I'm like, that's interesting, but
Yeah.
okay.
So we go over there and it's very, very tight lockdown. I mean, the doors to the hospital are locked. So we waited outside for them to open the doors. And then when we finally did get in, they were about to not even let me go up. And then the surrogate and I got separated, as you guys saw, and she was worried. She didn't want to be without me, obviously. And she kept telling everyone, this is the mother of the baby, she needs to come. And so we finally catch up, and then we go to triage where they determine that she needs to stay overnight. So that is where it was just kind of crazy. So the whole entire time our baby was being monitored, which is a good thing because we were able to see that the baby is really strong. We found out the baby is 4 pounds 5 ounces, 88th percentile, which is fantastic. During the whole process, they ended up giving our surrogate 2 steroid shots that will help our baby's lungs mature. So if she is born premature, she'll have a lot better chance of not being in the NICU for a really long time. But the main condition is a partial placental abruption. And what that is where the placenta starts to detach from the uterine wall and it causes bleeding, which is irritating to the uterus, which in effect can cause you to go into labor. The problem with that is that the placenta is the blood supply and the oxygen supply for the baby. So if it detaches for too long or anything like that happens, that's when your baby can die. So we were really worried about that, especially when we were in the hospital. So of course it's the holidays and it's a difficult time. So we felt really bad. We were not really with our kids. In fact, we texted, I think I texted my mom and I'm like, we are going over to labor and delivery. There's some major problems going on. Can you just go check on the kids? Because we thought we were going to be gone for 2-3 hours max. And I had told Alyssa, can you take care of Owen? You know, change him out of his jammies, get him some food, whatever. Well, by the time I come home that night, Owen was still in his jammies. He was like not changed. He'd worn holes through the feet of his pajamas actually from running around outside in them. But I feel like the kids were just a little bit stressed out even without us and knowing something was wrong, and then we were gone all day.
They kept texting us on their iPads. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
I know, I felt bad. They kept asking where we are, what's going on. So when we got home, we told them there were some problems with our surrogate, that she was bleeding and that can be really dangerous for the baby. But that we were doing everything, of course, possible to make sure everything was going to be a positive
And dangerous
outcome.
for the surrogate too. You know?
Yes, she could bleed to death also. So it's a really serious condition. Apparently it's only a very small percentage of women that have it, but when you have it, it's a really big deal. Luckily for us, it's a partial abruption and she's going to be on bed rest and things like that. So moving forward, they let her leave the hospital Christmas morning so she can go be with her child, because I know that she was really sad not being able to be with her child on Christmas, which I was really sad too.
I know, I felt bad. She had to spend all of Christmas Eve sitting there in the hospital.
I know.
Probably a couple hours between each visit, because the way it is at the hospital, The nurses, they just ditch you, and they're busy, and I'm not saying they're doing a bad job, but
Yeah, they're not trying to
that's
ditch
just
you.
how it is.
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
know if you've been to a doctor's appointment, there's a lot of people to visit,
Yeah.
and it just takes a long time.
But I was with her all of Christmas Eve, almost all of it. And then she had a family member come over to stay with her that night. So she had people with her at night, but I just
So they have
my
to take
best.
turns because they couldn't have two people visiting.
It was
at once.
hard though because
Yeah.
I needed to be home with my kids. Like
Yeah.
I have 6 kids here that needed me and wanted to see me on Christmas Eve, and I spent my entire Christmas Eve over with our surrogate because I really care about her and I want her to feel loved also, and I'm concerned about our unborn baby, and he needed to be there in case anything crazy happened. I wanted him to be close by just in case. So my mom and my sister stepped up big time. They came over. They took care of the kids for a couple days for us. They fed them, they made them homemade pizza. What else did they make them?
They
Homemade
made soup that was really good,
Yes,
yeah.
they made this chicken noodle soup. You should go get some. There's still some.
I should.
You should go show them. So they made this homemade chicken noodle soup. It was delicious. And then they made my mother-in-law's broccoli cheddar soup recipe. It is fantastic. In fact, we have a video on our channel, now that I think about it, of the broccoli cheddar soup. It is delicious. So my sister saved us these tiny little bowls of soup, one for him and one for me, because there was none left because it's such a favorite recipe. But this is the chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some of this tonight.
It's homemade. So anyway, you can see it. It was very good. They made a lot. They made big pots of soup. So they had that one night. They made the kids homemade pizza, and then I think they made cookies. Needless to say, the kids were taken care of food-wise. They're very lucky to have their aunt and their grandma come over and be here for them and hang out with them, so they didn't feel lonely.
Yeah, it's
I
great to
did
have
feel
family
bad.
nearby.
Yeah, I felt bad being gone so long. But going back, we were at the ultrasound, this very first ultrasound. I just thought about this, and they were trying to see using the belly ultrasound. Then they had to move to a vaginal ultrasound because and usually you don't have to do that when you're very far along, but they couldn't see what they were trying to see. And it was definitely getting a little bit stressful and serious when they were doing that. So it was just kind of crazy. It just happened really fast. Like all of a sudden they're doing this. All of a sudden it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
And it
So-
seems like the ultrasounds are in this building, and then across the street in the hospital where labor and delivery are, they're supposed to be getting these ultrasounds. And it's been several days and they haven't got them because, you know, the holidays. And I don't know what the reason is.
This is a big issue. Because of the holidays, they're having trouble. This doesn't even make sense, but I mean, I get it. Sometimes it's weird within hospitals. They can't get the actual images of the ultrasound that were taken, but they also can't take their own ultrasound images. So the doctors are supposed to be giving us a plan of action and telling us what's supposed to happen over at labor and delivery, but they keep saying, but we don't have the ultrasound, so we can't really do it. So every single day I just keep asking, well, how dangerous is this? Like, what is the percentage of the abruption? Like, what's the percentage of risk here? Like, what's going on? And I'm just getting no answers at all. So we went back again today, and as of now, actually a couple days ago, we went to the store. Well, he did. While I was sitting in the hospital, I'm like, go buy a baby heart monitor. So we were looking it up. He went to like 4 or 5 different stores. He was asking everyone. He finally came across one. We bought it. We gave it to our surrogate, and I'm like, please use this when they send you home. Like, please. Because they really wanted to let her go home at least for a little bit on Christmas to see her family. So I knew she was going to be going home at some point, especially because her bleeding had stopped. So they were feeling a lot more comfortable letting her go. So she got the monitor. She's been using it. She sent me a few videos of it, which has been really great because it's nice to hear the baby's heart beating. I'm just so worried that something's going to happen and nobody's going to know because a lot of the doctors haven't really been talking to each other, and a lot of the doctors, in fact, just today, one of the first people to talk to us, she was like, well, I don't know what's going on. Why are you guys here? And we're like, why are we here?
Let's start from the very beginning.
Like, no. So it's a little frustrating sometimes when no one seems to know what's going on and no one has any solid answers.
There's different employees each day, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast, how it works these days with doctors and nurses and everything.
I do have to say though, I love the labor and delivery unit. I don't think I've ever been in one that hasn't had just the best, most nicest employees. Like, oh my gosh, the nurses, the midwives, the nurse practitioners, like, oh my gosh, they're just so nice. I mean, how can you not be in a good mood though when you're bringing life to the world? I mean, talk about a great job. So Yeah, they've been nice to us. I mean, in fact, there was one named Kelsey actually, of Owen. And we told her we liked the name Kelsey, and I asked her, so how do you like your name? And she's like, I love my name. And I was like, okay, my husband has a question because we've talked about this name a little bit. Does anyone ever call you Chelsea? And she's like, yeah, they've called me Chelsea a little bit. Oh, and are you moving my camera? Yeah. Don't move the camera. Sorry about that. Don't mind Noah messing with the camera. He can't help himself. So we asked this nurse, Kelsey, we're like, do you ever get called Chelsea sometimes? And she goes, yeah, I do, but honestly, not a lot. And I said, does it bug you? How do you feel about it? And she's like, I honestly don't mind at all. So she's like, I'm gonna call the baby Kelsey. Come on, baby Kelsey. So she kept calling her that. It was really cute. Then there's another nurse, her name was Kayla. She comes in, and I was like, we kind of like your name. It's also one of our favorites. We kind of like the K sounds. We're not exactly sure, but we like it. And so she's like, well, I'm gonna call your baby Kayla. So she starts going hi Kayla. It was so funny. A couple of the nurses kept telling us to name our baby after them. I thought it was cute. They were all really nice though. They brought us juice. They were offering our surrogate meals and
if only it were twin girls, we could do both names.
That's true. So anyway, overall, I mean, it wasn't a horrible experience because there was a lot of really nice people. The bad thing was just obviously the scariness of the whole situation in general and the unknown. I mean, it's just interesting. They sent me this report home. It says the baby's heartbeat was around 145, which is good. And the baby was moving a lot, which is also great. And you can kind of hear some of the movements on the baby monitor that we've sent our surrogate home with. Moving forward, we have appointments scheduled practically every day. We're going in for non-stress tests and we're going to be meeting with the OB. We're having more ultrasounds and things like that. So we have a lot of appointments coming up. The bad news is we had a planned trip to go to Texas to see Matt's family for New Year's. And we were really excited about that. The kids were really excited.
Yeah, we had everything packed.
Oh my gosh. Everything.
Suitcases.
Our suitcases are packed. They're in
things
the hallway.
in the car already. We cleaned the car.
Yes. We were gonna do fireworks there, and we were so excited because we can't do fireworks in California, but you can do them in Texas, really good ones. So we had already planned that we were all gonna go buy fireworks. It was really fun. The kids love their uncle. He's pretty much their main uncle, so they were really excited to see him and play some games with him. And
we're going to be going somewhere as a family.
Yes.
So we had
a
fun
water
stuff
park trip planned with them. Matt's mom's been having some health issues, so we were really excited to see her as well because it's just kind of important right now for us. We haven't talked much about that, but we might tell you guys more about that at some point. Yeah. So we're bummed. We canceled the trip, but the reason we canceled the trip was the doctor, her exact words were, this condition can go south very quickly. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I said, okay, that being said, we have a trip and we were gonna leave the day after Christmas. And she's like, well, how long are you gonna be gone? And I'm like, well, about 2 weeks. And she's like, okay, do you have a couple days to decide? And I was like, well, yeah, we're driving. And so we have a couple days, but then she's like, honestly, if it were me, I wouldn't leave. You should probably cancel your trip. And I said, you know what, that's all I need to hear. I'm fine canceling the trip because obviously the health of our surrogate and our baby, that's our number one priority and we want to be here for them. So we're not gonna go. So it was hard though. His parents had scheduled a photographer to take pictures and they sent us a text. I was in the hospital and I got the text. And his dad was saying how excited they were to see us and how we're gonna do these particular outfits they decided. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to cancel, we can't go. And oh man, I felt so bad. So we're not going, we're staying home. We'll be home for New Year's Eve. This has definitely been a different type of holiday experience for sure.
Oh yeah.
In fact, Christmas Day, I was not even really present hardly at all in the beginning when we were doing breakfast and all that kind of stuff because I was on the phone with representatives and attorneys and everything, trying to get things sorted out and try to get some answers and see what we need to do and what's the next steps and all that kind of stuff. So as of right now, we're in good spirits. There obviously is the anxiety of the unknown and the concerns of things that just could happen.
Right.
You know, obviously
It's hard to know if this is a really big problem we should be concerned about or something that's not really much of a problem at all. Because there's no percentage they've given us.
Yeah. So it's hard to know how concerned we should be. Obviously we need to be concerned. Obviously it's a problem, but it's like how much? And we know the doctors aren't trying to purposely keep us in the dark. We know that's not the case. No one's maliciously trying
no one's trying to mess anything up.
Yeah, like, let's not tell them what's going on. It really is that people just aren't forwarding each other ultrasounds, and so people just can't even tell us anything at all because they can't see what they're really looking at. So no one's doing anything purposely to keep us in the dark. It's just how it's happening because it's the holidays and everybody's off work.
Yeah.
And we happen to have this happen just a couple days before Christmas. So it was just horrible timing. But yeah, I mean, we're feeling good. Our surrogate is feeling good. I think that everyone is feeling hopeful and happy. And I don't know how confident I am that we will A, not have a C-section, and B, not have an early baby even by a little bit. I'm not too confident in those two things, but that's not the worst case situation for me. So those are dealable. You can deal with them.
I like
so
that new word.
Yeah, I think that's where we're kind of at. A little nervous, but feeling hopeful, feeling pretty good. Our surrogate said she's having no pain, no contractions, no bleeding, so that's all good.
Yeah, just some mainly like Braxton Hicks, which is normal. You could have months.
Yeah, and she's barely feeling those anyway.
Yeah,
they're showing up on the monitor, but she's not really.
So they said the baby is kind of low, so they're watching that as well, because that could mean when she does go into labor, it's going to be a fast labor, or maybe
but we
the baby's coming early. We don't know
yet. The baby was going to be coming fast.
Well, yeah, true. But now we're thinking the baby's probably coming early.
Yeah.
This is a big surprise, being like, what, 2 months before?
And we don't want her to come any sooner than she needs to because I don't want her to be in the NICU without us. I really want her to come home from the hospital if she can. I mean, I was laughing. I was like, we don't have a car seat. Like, we're not ready. Granted, we wouldn't need the car seat yet if she did come down, but I'm just like, whoa. Like, I was not thinking about this.
Her phone was like dying when she went over to the hospital.
Yeah.
I was like, who thinks of bringing a charger like 2 months?
Well, no, this is the funny thing. I charge every single night. Yeah. There's never a night that I don't charge my phone because that's my routine. I charge while I'm sleeping. But this one particular night, the night before this appointment, I was tired and I was like, oh, my phone's at like 80. I have a pretty new phone. It's fine. So I just set my phone down. I didn't charge it. And I'm like, really, of all the days to not charge my phone, when I probably never missed a day for like years of charging my phone, I didn't charge my phone. And I'm sitting there like, I'm at 12%. Like, what am I going to do?
It's not like I could go in and give her a charger. I didn't have a wall charger.
He didn't have a charger. Our surrogate didn't have a charger. Yeah. We didn't have any snacks. Like, we had nothing. I did make a Facebook post. I made a few Instagram reels, just to kind of let people know, honestly, because I was in such a rush and my phone was dead. So I posted a reel and I posted on Facebook, and I think I asked for prayers for the baby. But I did want to say, if any of you guys have had placental abruption or anything like that, tell me your experience. Like, how far along were you? What happened? Were you able to reverse it? Did it stop? Did you go into labor? Did you have your baby right away? Did you
have to be monitored in the hospital?
Yeah, tell me what happened.
What was the percentage of abruption?
Yeah, I've never had this happen. I don't even know.
This is just a big unknown for us, so there's still some unknown questions, but we're in good spirits. Yeah. We want you guys to keep us in your thoughts and prayers.
But if you have had this happen, I want to know, because I don't know a single person. Well, I think I know one person, but that's someone who just reached out. So really, I don't have any experience with it. So tell us that in the comments if you have any experience, and please keep our baby and our surrogate in your thoughts and prayers. We'll definitely update you guys soon as we have more information. Hopefully it'll be good information and not a baby birth announcement.
Yeah, we want to keep her in there as long as possible.
Yes, every day counts, every day. So we're just thankful for every day she's inside there, for sure. But we will see you guys in our next video. And thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.